Welcome everyone to the AM Book Club, the webinar series. This is our third edition, and I'm your host, Andrew Mutua. Today, we're privileged to have as our guest speaker a very good friend of mine, Mr. Erustus Ouko. Erustus is first and foremost a father, a husband. He's also an investor, an entrepreneur, and the managing director of Megacap Limited. I met Erustus a little over 10 years ago through a local club here in Nairobi, Kenya, called the League of Young Professionals. It is from there where we developed a great friendship. We also happen to serve in the board of one of its affiliate, the investment arm of the League of Young Professionals called the LYP Investment Company, where Erustus is our chairman. We've worked together in a number of initiatives, one of which was engaging his company to help my company in developing a strategic plan. It's from there where we developed a great document that we still use to date in guiding the direction that we take as a company. Erustus is certainly a great friend and resource, both on a personal and a professional level. And it is with that I'm very delighted that we have him today to come speak to us on this topic of navigating crisis in business. And without further ado, I wish to now welcome on stage Mr. Erustus Ouko to come speak to us on this very topic. Karibu sana, Erustus.
The general or the natural thing for people to do is to hold on to what they already have rather than spend. So we have to identify in our own businesses what is a crisis-friendly price for my services or my goods. The second thing that I want to address about pricing, or about the issue of pricing, is the issue of price adaptability. And I'll give you an example of the story that I shared with this chain, McDonald's. Price adaptability, what they did was they used data, and this is where at Megacap, we are a data-driven company. And it's very important to make decisions based on data that you can be able to take to the bank. And customer intelligence is actually key. That's why it's important to continue collecting information and finding out what's going on. So what McDonald's did is they collected information from their customers and they narrowed down to know what is the price that customers are what is the exact price that customers are comfortable to pay for different products, like their Burger King, or what is the exact price. They narrowed down to that and they adjusted accordingly. And this is related to another point that I will refer to a bit later on really efficiency and cutting down on wastage, but really identifying at what is the correct price point at this particular time. And then you can be able to adjust accordingly. Sometimes we price and we have a very big buffer in terms of margins, but right now we need to be able to adapt or to train our pricing so that the customers will come walking through the doors or knocking through our businesses for our products. I'll also give an example on this same thing. Like I've seen some businesses having happy hour, and maybe you can say, if you're selling drinks, you can say for between lunch hour or between 6 and 7, then the price is slashed by half. And you direct traffic towards your products. The second major point in terms of really handling a crisis and navigating is the whole issue of diversified product ranges. In strategy and in business, we normally advise people that focus is important for you to succeed, especially if you're a startup or you're just setting up and all of that. So focus is absolutely critical. But my point is diversification of your product offerings. And this is key because now you're able to drive traffic of people who are coming to reach out for different kinds of products for you. I'll give you an example. At Megacap right now, we are really focusing. One of our product ranges is the whole issue of we do business structures and systems. And right now we are targeting private schools because we realized private schools are probably struggling to reach out to parents and also to adapt to the new way of doing things. And right now we are really hammering on private schools devising new products that will handle exactly that. There are people who are also, I'm not saying, and I wanted you to get me clearly, because I'm not saying if you're in a business like you're a pediatrician like Dr. Christine, I'm not saying you start selling sanitizers. You might do that, it's fine. But what I'm talking about, price or product differentiation, is within your own industry, you can be able to introduce some elements of products that helps you to diversify, like what McDonald's did. They introduced even coffee. So it's within the same thing. They were selling fast food, but introduced also coffee, which is a good quality coffee. And that really helped them to drive traffic of customers towards their business. So you can also do that and really reflect upon that so that you can be able, the main point is really to get people to come and interact with you and keep buying what they need to buy. The other point, or the third point, to keep your business doors open during a time of crisis is on the issue of control in terms of managing your expenditure. And I will say the whole issue of operational control or operational costs is absolutely critical at this time. If you're not, I know there are some entrepreneurs that say, I'm not good with numbers. And you cannot afford to do that. We have to know, where is our money going? What are the wastages? If you've been spending a lot of money and you look at your books and your records and you're spending so much money on things that do not add value, direct value, this is the time to cut down on that and really drive down costs so that you remain with what adds value to your business for you to be able to stay afloat. And managing operational costs and expenses is key. So that the key word is efficiency. I'm not saying you cut out on things the very things that gives your business the breadth or the bloodline of your business, but really cutting down on wastage. Just check what is wastage in your own business, assess the whole thing from the whole value chain of whatever you're providing. Assess that with toothpick sort of lenses, and make sure you cut down on any unnecessary expenses. The other thing is, and probably the last point to that, is the whole issue of marketing. People think that, and really this is related to my previous point, cutting down on costs or managing your operational expenses does not mean you stop to give your business or to feed your business, giving your business input that will help you to drive sales. In fact, I will say right now is the time for you to improve on your marketing. And there is an opportunity. You can be able to find, if your business is not online, and Instagram is a great platform to sell, especially for people who have products, tangible products. If you're selling things like shoes and other things, even services, I see that. You can be able to get somebody who is very good at Instagram, and a lot of people have time in their hands, and you can be able to drive sales based off of that. This is the time to come up with a great marketing campaign that will be able to revolutionize your business. This strategy was also used by McDonald's during the economic crisis of 2008, and they were able to negotiate in terms of TV adverts and marketing, and they really spread their, they spread themselves, introduced their products to new customer bases, and they were able to really explode their sales. So you can be able to do the same. If your business is not embracing maybe social media, this is the time for you to do that. If you're not using videos that are captivating, you can do that. Whichever, of course, for me, I normally advise people, whatever medium that you use or channel that you use to reach out, ensure that it is informed by your target customer. Where is your target customer? Go to them. Which language do they speak? Which platform will be able to really get through to them in a way that is effective? So not blind marketing. So what I'm saying is ramp up on marketing, but targeted marketing, targeting your customers. And we could share, different ways. If you need help with that, we could exchange ideas on what you need to do, how you need to reach out to your customers once you've done your customer analysis. The other thing that I wanted to just emphasize is a company like, I remember, and he was part of LYP, Bonfire Adventures. I'm sure you all know Bonfire Adventures. It's one of the leading tourism companies in Kenya, started domestic tourism. We were with Simon Kabu. We were in LYP together, starting at that time when they were actually starting, Simon and Sarah, when they were actually starting the business. And that shows you that during a time of crisis, there's also an opportunity. So we all just need to reflect and look at where the opportunity is at. I see some more people have joined us. I've seen Jenny, I've seen Wanjohi, Karibuni Sana. So I just want to maybe summarize what I've talked about in terms of the business. How does the business navigate a crisis? And I started by talking about the different kinds of crisis and saying that really crisis is here with us to stay. I've mentioned 4 points. One is on the issue of pricing. I've talked about crisis-friendly pricing, given examples that we have here in Kenya with my own business and also international examples. The second thing on pricing is being able to use data to ensure you have price adaptability so that people can be able to buy more from you based on the sweet spot in terms of pricing. The other point that I've mentioned is the whole thing about managing your operational expenses or operational efficiency and cutting down on anything that is wastage in your business and does not really speak to the bottom line. We've also talked about diversification of products and product ranges, and it's also very important, especially like I know McDonald's at that point of the 2008 recession also ensured that they had very strong Wi-Fi in most of their branches, and that is intentional to keep customers, because you see when you're talking about customer spending, the more time a customer spends with you, they probably spend more money. And research tells us that when you ensure that customers spend a little bit more and you have loyal customers, it's better than somebody who is doing customer acquisition every time. So upselling, it's called upselling your customers, making sure that you have people coming in, getting products that they need, and that helps the business to stay afloat for longer. And it's much better in terms of looking at the figures and numbers. The other thing that I've mentioned is the issue of marketing. Right now is the time to ramp up on your marketing. And sometimes people try to hold up. I know I talked about operational efficiencies and ensuring that you do not have any wastage, but that does not mean that you don't put money where you need to put the money. You need to put money in marketing. You need to put money in terms of things that will be able to bring you more business. The second part and the last part of my presentation is I've talked about the business in general, but businesses are run by people. And if you're not in the right frame of mind, then you will probably screw up your business. Your business will go under. It's critical that the entrepreneur or the person running the business has it right. And I have 3 things. I call it the ABCs for the entrepreneur during a time of crisis. The first one is to ask for help. Entrepreneurs, the way they are wired, like I will talk about myself, I don't know whether it's ego or what it is, but we believe that you can be able to fix things by yourself and you don't want to ask for help. You feel like you're bothering people. But that ability to be able to seek out for help and to ask is actually important. And sometimes you might be surprised that when you ask, you will be able to, whatever you'll be able to get, the referrals, you know, the connections will be mind-blowing. So be able to ask, especially at a time like right now. Ask for help, seek and accept to be assisted. I know entrepreneurs and business owners love to always be the people who are asking people. You can also be on the receiving end and really feel free to ask. In fact, it's ironical that when you're a bit more vulnerable, people connect with you more rather than when you seem like you're a superhero. The B one is being. What you are is very, very important, your state of mind. And by being, what do I mean? I mean being being in the correct state of mind. Today in the morning, I was talking to some business owners, and we're talking about some who have gone into depression. Mental health issues are a problem. And one of the things that can help you to have a lot of energy as an entrepreneur is really exercise. You can really exercise, you can go running and clear your head, eat healthy. And that is very important for your business to stay afloat, so that you're not consistently stressed out and taking out your stress on your employees, sometimes also on your customers and people who are supposed to be helping you. So be, you know, at a point where you're at your best, being the best version of yourself. If you need to go hike, if you need to work out, if you need to clear your head, read a great book, attend seminars. Knowledge is really our greatest equalizer. You know, it's our greatest competitive advantage, I mean, knowledge. So get knowledge like what you're sharing here in AM book club, you know, get from different sources. There's a lot of resources out there. There's an opportunity, by the way. There's people all over the world offering. I saw even the other day, even Ivy League institutions like Harvard are offering courses that will cost you an arm and a leg at very, very affordable prices. And lastly, communicate. And communication, I'm talking about communicating at different levels. Communicate to your internal customers. If you're working with people, make sure that you do communicate with them. Be real. And that's why I was saying, you know, it's very important sometimes to be vulnerable. And you can present your problems to your employees, and you might be surprised they are the ones with the solution, because now it's also concerning them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that because you're the person, the vision bearer, you have the best ideas all the time. So sometimes your ideas are not good. It's good to accept that. And maybe somebody in your own, you know, staff or people that you work with have a better idea of how to go about it. So be real, open up, tell people the real situation and the real position, but you need to balance so that people do not take advantage of you. And I would recommend, you know, if you have a WhatsApp group in your business, you can open another one that's a bit social that you're not talking about, so people can just, you know, you can connect. It's also a time to connect, communicate, find out, call people, call your own people, ask them, how are you doing? But the second level of communication, so internal communication is important because you need your people to take you to the next level. But the second one is also communicating with your customers. You know, when customers, this time, some people actually saying, okay, and I saw some people complaining, saying, especially for schools, and that's why probably we devised this private school product that we're working on right now. Some people say, okay, we pay so much money to these schools in Kenya, but now they're already asking us for second-term fees. The children are not even there. And, you know, they're only after our money. They don't really care. And customers are really sensitive. They want to know how much you care. And if you come out as you really care for your customers, they will be loyal, they'll give you business, they'll make you rich. So what are you communicating to your customers right now? You can actually call them up, find out how they're doing, you know, communicate a solution. It's not always about making money upfront. Be of help, and you will be able to navigate this period. So I want to believe that as a Toastmaster as well, time management is key. So I want to believe that I'm within the time frame that I needed to deliver that. There's a lot to talk about, but I think I'll stop for now so that I can entertain a few questions here and there and clarifications, and hopefully to help you navigate a crisis in your business. Thank you very much. Back to you, moderator AM.
Thank you very much, Erustus, that was a really good presentation in learning or getting lessons from McDonald's when they underwent similar situations as we are in. At this point, I would like to open it up for questions. We've learned about pricing, diversifying products, managing our costs, marketing, and also the ABCs for times of crisis. Is there anything that has struck you? Anything that you'd like a lot more clarity on? Yes, I see a question from Jiri. Jiri, if you could go ahead, and then we'll get to Janine Mullen.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Ouko, for such a splendid presentation. I'm just interested in knowing how Ouko is managing the admin, the day-to-day admin routine work, as in such a period. I can imagine, for example, for most entrepreneurs, they have expenses that deal with maybe accounting, filing tax returns and all that. And some of them usually outsource some of the services to other people. So in such a period, how do you manage all the admin work, especially knowing that maybe some staff are working remotely or are not in the office? So how do you ensure you now manage this daily admin work or keep the expenses at a minimum?
Yeah, thank you for an excellent question. That's an important point in terms of managing operational costs. And what we are doing personally for ourselves is we talk to people that we work with and see can people do a little more than one thing. So somebody doubles up, the person who is helping with maybe admin and HR elements, helping with also admin, also analyzing whether is it cheaper to outsource some of these things so that you can free up. For me, I'm very keen. I really care about employees. So I wouldn't want anybody to let go of their employees. I think they should be able to find a way or a solution. But you see, if you're able to analyze and see that maybe some of the things that the people that you're with are doing are sort of, they can be done more efficiently by outsourcing or even replaced by technology, it frees up the hand for the person that you're with for them to be able to do something else. So I will say it's a case-by-case basis, Jerry. So there's some people who it makes sense for you to keep the accountant and the HR practitioner at that point. For some people, it's outsourcing. Outsourcing will mean you save some money. For some people, you call people to double up on whatever they're doing. We do as much as possible on things that we can be able to do, and we compare that. So because also there's probably for a lot of businesses, it's not a lot of new businesses coming up. So when people have some free time on their hands, then you handle that. But I also wanted to mention that it's also important to negotiate. For example, you can negotiate with your staff. I think it's really difficult, especially for SMEs, when to do something like what the corporates have been able to do, telling people, can you take a pay cut, maybe 20%, 30% or so? Because a lot of times SMEs are not able to pay very competitive rates. But can we be able to ask, what else can we do? How can we open up opportunities or possibilities for new income streams? How can we, make sure that we leverage on whatever we have? But also negotiating with suppliers. If you have something like you need to pay within the 60 days or 90 days, really negotiating terms with suppliers is key. So finding creative ways to ensure that you do that. And also automating. Like for us also, another thing that we've done is we are now automating something like sending out of quotations. So it doesn't take time. And that time you can put that time to better use. Yeah, I hope I've answered in a way that that is helpful.
Yes, Ouko, thank you very much.
I think we'll now go to Janine.
Yes. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. And thank you so much, Erustus. That was really a great talk and a talk in due season. My question is, you did talk about the need to control and manage expenditure, which I pretty much get, but you did say, however, in time of crisis anyway, marketing is still important. My question to you is, because we have seen this even in Kenya during a time of economic crisis or when the economy is not so good, most companies take away their advertising budget. So my question is, what is the difference between advertising and marketing? And would you agree that advertising is a good cost to cut out? Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, for that, and great to have you here. First of all, there's a definition that I saw somewhere. I think I forgot. It's quite a fancy definition differentiating marketing and advertising. But I think cutting out the whole thing of semantics, and what I really mean is what brings the money, or what brings the sale, or what brings the business. Whether somebody calls the activities marketing or advertising, for me, the main point is really focusing and looking at what really brings the money, what brings the business. And I think that one, it will probably be a mistake for anybody to cut out on what will bring you more income. So I think it's what I was talking about. There's a possibility right now to really negotiate, because most businesses are on the low. So even if you go to somebody who in a branding company or marketing company, you can be able to negotiate very good rates. And what happened with even McDonald's, they came up with very good campaigns during that time, and with those campaigns, it really helped them to, and because, you know, the way we are thinking about the period or the season, it will go beyond even the COVID. In fact, I am one of those people who believe, you know, it's not right now, somebody needs to just snap out of it and stop thinking, okay, we'll wake up tomorrow and COVID has gone and it's a new thing. We have to go through this situation, learn how to live with it, learn how to manage and do that as we continue. So the main point here is, we cut out on anything that, and we need to really analyze, we cut out on anything that really takes away. And if we look at it properly, it does not really contribute towards the growth of sales. And right now, sales is very important. However, it's also important to balance between long-term sales or long-term business and short-term. Right now, it's also important to think about what monies or income can we be able to have or generate or bring in within a shorter period of time, rather than looking at plans for the next 10 years, because things can change. So what can bring and keep our doors open, can put us in business right now. And we need to do that, make those plans, be brutally, you know, honest with ourselves in terms of cutting any excesses and anything that, and we do not need to be sentimental about that. We need to remove this thing of sentimentalism, you know, just really analyze brutally, even if it's something that you really like. If it is a liability to you, not bringing money, you know, cut it out right now. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Erustus.
Andy, I think I have answered Jenny to her satisfaction. Yes, I don't know whether, I think Andy was having some problems with his internet, and I think it looks like he's freezing. Yeah, so we can open it up for a few more. We still have maybe like 10 minutes. You know, if you have any more questions, any more clarifications. I've seen True join us, and I've seen also somebody else who had joined us. Welcome.
Erustus, you have a question on the chat.
Yes. Ah, okay.
A question from Nelly on the chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Nelly. Oh, very great insights. Before COVID, the business was already slow. So with COVID, things moved from bad to worse. How do you manage, including debt management? The banks might have been asked to help, but what is the reality? So this business, so Nelly, your business is about, you're saying the business was already slow even before COVID, and it has moved from bad to worse. So I think it's very important to, whether you're in a crisis period or not, and of course crisis exacerbates the impact on businesses, but it's always good to reflect and ask yourself whether you're really in business, whether your business is doing well, and that way you can be able to consult services like MegaCap that can be able to help you to look at your business and be able to have it as a healthy business. For some businesses, I normally tell people and clients and friends that the greatest thing, the most important thing that you need in business is really what is called a willing buyer or a paying customer. All these other things are really secondary. So if you have a paying customer for your business, then you can be able to fix majority of these other things. But if you have all these other things, but that element you don't have, it's a problem. So I think the starting point for this, Nelly, it will be important to really reflect and analyze what was the problem, where did the rain start beating, if that happened, if that happened at all after things were good, or this business never took off. And is it the correct idea? Is it the correct strategy for the business? Is our go-to-market correct? So it could be many things in terms of that question. But for me, my advice would be sit down with MegaCap or somebody who can be able to assist you, reflect on that, find out what really is the issue. And sometimes the businesses do not take off because maybe the entrepreneur was not sure about what it takes for you to be able to succeed in that business. We have things that we call in every industry key success factors. So maybe we are not very keen about that. Sometimes people go into business because they're technically sound. Maybe you are a doctor and you know you can treat people and you're very good at it. But running a facility that offers medical services and being a doctor there's some different skill sets that you might need. So what I'm saying is the answer could go very many different directions. It's probably good to sit down and really analyze, look at what really was the issue, and then we try and see how to fix that. And sometimes the problem is also the entrepreneur. It's not everybody who can be a great entrepreneur.
Well, I think I'll cut in on that because I know you might be thinking specifically kiddie party or anything, but or I don't know. But I was just looking at how businesses were operating before COVID, and the way we could already see people talking about. I don't know if it was because of political factors or the drought or whatever that was happening in the country even before COVID. You know, when we started in January, then it was like February, it just started like that. So my question was that businesses were already going slow, and here you are, you need to look at the pricing, but the suppliers are already waiting for you to pay them. Yet maybe some of the clients who are owing you are also trying to get, and you know how it is, nangoja nilipwe na fulani ndio nilipe fulani ndio, and you find debt starts piling, and maybe you still have you had to get capital from the bank too. So in this crisis, as much as we'd like to see the light at the end of the tunnel, there is still that fear of how do you apply the cutting cost or cost-friendly prices when you're ready. That was one of the things that you started. Considering everyone is now opening a business, you find that you're also getting the competitors and also the venue. You think that high end because I will be able to get these people, but then you find that these people know River Road. And they can go there, and you thought I've brought it to Runda, where there will be that kind of thing. Hi, Howie. So yeah, I think that was my question. Like, how do you really start thinking about managing debt, looking at your suppliers, looking at the people who owe you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Nelly. I got your question, and I was not answering in relation to KGP. Yeah, I was just saying, yes, there are businesses that were really struggling even in the turn of the year. The economy has been, there has been issues to do with that. But on the other hand, there are also businesses that are making a lot of money during that period. And I also mentioned that, in fact, even right now, there's a business that I was looking at, that because of the crisis, the story goes that their sales went down drastically in terms of their projections for quarter 1 of 2020. It went down by more than 40%. And the entrepreneur was thinking, maybe this is headed towards closing our doors. And then an idea struck them, and they were able to, right now they're doing the sales that they've done. I was just talking to this person. The sales that they've done within the last couple of weeks has been the highest all-time high over many, many years that they've been doing business. What have they done? They analyzed and looked at some of the essential services that were there, tweaked or pivoted their business to be able to supply whatever the market needed, and they are making money with that. My point is that business is really about solutions, and when I'm providing a solution to the market, there are people who are ready and willing to pay for it. And depending on the way that I actually have my value proposition and really pitch my product, there are people who are paying for it. In fact, I think that they're saying Kenyans are buying more fuel guzzlers like never before. So it means there's some money somewhere. So it actually means there's somebody who will pay a premium price for whatever service it is that that somebody is offering. What we just need to do is really identify what is the customer pain point, position my product in such a way, and present it in such a way that the customer knows I understand and I'm speaking to the need, to the very need at the core. And that's why we are also very much data driven, because we really find out what is the customer looking for. The number of likes on Facebook does not mean the business is you need, there's an opportunity. It's how many people get money from their pocket and give you, and you convert. So that's why I was saying this should be a case-by-case basis, where we are looking at the genesis of the issue and we look at the ways that we can fix it. But also, there's some businesses that it's just a false start. If somebody maybe started a product that the market does not need, it's not the time for that product right now, or the way that they've packaged it is not the way the market will respond to it, it might not make money now. So there could be different elements here and there. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is business is about really providing a solution in a way that the customer appreciates and they get value for it. And when they give you money, they feel like it's value for money. Yes.
I see Janine has another question. She has her hand risen. Janine, go ahead.
Actually, I think I just hadn't put down my hand, but now that I have a mic, Erustus, I want to put you on the spot for a second here.
Okay.
Businessmen and consultants and developers like yourself keep telling us there is always opportunity during crisis. So Erustus, without many stories, simply tell us, if I want to do business right now in Kenya during COVID, what new opportunities have come up? List them for us.
Okay. Yeah, so
and Erustus, probably before you go ahead, just to let you know, we're about 1 minute away to the end of the session. But if you wish to continue, I don't know if Erustus, you've got a few more minutes to
yeah, sure, I can spare
I mean,
a few more.
I just want to be respectful to those that are cognizant of time and probably might feel that they want to get off. But if you wish to continue, we are happy to continue with this. So I'll probably add on 15 minutes with your consent before we wrap it up.
Yeah, most
You
of
guys
like
are
I'll
okay,
be
you can just give me a thumbs up and then we'll continue.
okay as the thumbs go up. Jenny, thank you for that. And for the fear of sounding cliche, I know people have talked about that, but it's true. We say that when there is blood in the streets, that there's an opportunity. It's only the way we look at it. So in mentioning, and I will say right now, if you look at, for example, I'll give an example for us. For us right now, we are devising a product for private schools. The reason is the private schools, we've seen a situation where parents are complaining. The private schools, a lot of the owners are not sure because their old business model will probably not work. And things have been really disrupted. So that's an opportunity for us because it's a new customer base that we did not think about before. There are companies that I know that have changed into now making face masks and some sanitizers and repackaging that because the market is there for them. People are now more conscious. There are people who, if you do, like right now, the business of online business in terms of delivery and logistics is really making money because people do not want to go up and about, going to shop and things like that. So right now, if you started a business where you can do shopping for people, for middle class, and be able to at middle to higher class, and you can be able to really deliver on time and give them value for money, they'll give you money, they'll put money in your pockets, so long as you can be able to have the correct price point and have all these things figured out. There's opportunity for business in the mental health industry. Right now people are going through depression. Some do not even know what's going on. And that's a great opportunity that has opened up. There's probably new industries in terms of, what the government is putting in terms of the measures for, maintaining social distance and having that happening. That's an opportunity. There's a lot of parents who are maybe technophobic and they don't know how to teach their children ideals and things like that in terms of, right now people are learning through Zoom and all these things. It's not everybody who can be able to do that. They're afraid. That's an opportunity for somebody who can quickly do that, provide a solution for them. There's an opportunity for children at home right now. They are running their parents, mad because they are there. They have a lot of energy. They are eating everything. They are watching Netflix. They are watching everything. So Nelly actually started something interesting and we're talking about it. She can actually get a lot of clients by serving these children, maybe having, a session, training them and things like that. There are companies that are already now giving her opportunity to be able to talk about to their children about, it could be about mental health, it could be about navigating COVID, it could be about character formation. So the opportunities are many. So I think if you name an industry, we can be able to identify a couple of opportunities. But we have to go into those opportunities carefully. Know that setting up a business, successful business, typical. I'm not saying they're not outliers. It takes about 15 months. So for you to be able to make money out of it, according to research. But that doesn't mean there are no businesses that make money in the second, third month. But if it means, are you setting this business for a quick, is it a commodity or a business? A commodity, I can cook some donuts and start supplying you guys and make some quick buck, make some money and then stop. But is it something that I want to do over a longer period of time? Yes. But we can talk more because also opportunities, we look at them differently. The other variables, yeah.
Thank you very much, Erustus.
Anyone else? Maybe as we get another question.
I can see my friend Eric Makori around.
Yeah.
Alligator, is that your, that's another person.
Yes, I don't like to scare people. My other name is Alligator.
Okay.
Yes,
welcome.
and indeed, thank you. Even though I'm late due to other commitments that were also critical, I'm happy to have caught the tail end of this very powerful conversation about opportunities even during the time of crisis, and it really resonates well. However, how do you package yourself so that you don't look like an opportunist, even while you're doing business? Because again, ethics must be seen to be adhered to, and not just a heady pursuit of profit. Over to you, Erustus.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bwana Makori. And we talked about that element, especially that you know, because one of the things that it's very, very important for businesses is the whole issue of mission. What is the mission? Why do you start the business? What's the reason? What's the driving force behind it? Because then that sometimes it really determines a lot when you're moving forward. So I think we talked about that, the ethics element. The whole thing about setting up a business is a whole lot of things. I think for today's session, we are talking about navigating a crisis, businesses navigating crisis, and I gave out some points, and I think the questions have also opened up to many other elements. So I'm happy to have you here, and I agree with your point 100%. It's the issue of ethics in business is absolutely key, especially in our country where we seem to be having a problem with that. Yeah.
Erustus, I had a question for you. And this is in reference to the idea of marketing. Can you speak to this aspect of how, even in these times of crisis, as business, we can still be able to provide value, even before seeking any kind of form of payment for it? And you also talked about identifying customer pain points. How do you do that in relation to customer relation management? Give us some direct tools or ideas of how we can go about this. Thank you.
Yeah, on the first question, it's absolutely important to, it's not always, and that's why I was also talking about the mission. What drives you in terms of the business that you do? If you're providing a solution, sometimes, you might be able to, and we have business models where initially you can even provide a service or something that it looks nearly free for people to have, for customers to have some experience, so that they can be able to now, after that, to be converted into loyal customers. So on the issue of especially giving information to your customers, that is absolutely key. And sometimes that also creates confidence in you. It creates, customers begin to trust you. You build trust. Trust is key for customer management. I've done blogs or vlogs and just shared information of how do you take care of your business, how do you handle a couple of things, how do you price, how do you do all of those. That is helpful. Somebody picks that up, applies that in their own business. They're happy, it works. They can be able then to come up to you when they have bigger problems. It's not always about making the money up front. You can be able to, give customers some value, some information, and then, from that, it can lead to, even more business. They can refer you, or they can talk to you and give you more business. But I want to caution that you also have to be careful to know, so that you don't get into something that really is costing you money, and you actually end up losing money. So if you're losing money and you're giving free service for a long time, it might not be sustainable. So I think here somebody needs to really calculate and see, how exactly can I do that? What platforms can I use? What can I leverage on? But how can I add value and support people? It's not always what can I get out of it. Sometimes, you give and it comes back to you. I think the other thing that you mentioned was in terms of customer management. Really, it's about trust. People do business with people they trust. And, when you're building trust with customers, and that's why I also mentioned, one of the points that I mentioned, it's important to keep on engaging your customers, talk to them, find out how they are doing. Not all the time trying to sell them something. Just find out what is it that the customer is doing. And, how are you doing? How have you been affected? Listen to them. Sometimes somebody just wants you to listen, listen to their problem. I know of there's a friend of mine in business. He does CCTVs. I'm sure Rachel knows him, because they're sharing with us the story where, he just listened. He went to a client. This was somebody who was setting up some CCTVs, listened in, and then there was already another supplier who was setting up these tools in the customer premises, but then they did a very, very bad job. And this guy just gave, information and insight and things like that. And the long story short, he received a phone call a few weeks later, and he was given the job. He was given another bigger job. And it was just because he applied customer management techniques and really genuinely cared about the customer. Sometimes we care about people because we want something from them. But if you really genuinely care, manage, really find out, build on the relationship, deepen it, then it normally pays. Yeah, so I would say in terms of customer, at the heart of customer management, of course, for me, I normally say the greatest customer service is to provide the correct quality service. Provide quality service so there's no complaints. But if you can be able to go beyond that, find out how somebody is doing, help them, it might translate into business for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Erustus. We just have now about 4 more minutes. I think the final question I'll ask, because this is a book club and we are all about books. What is a book recommendation? 1 or 2 books that you'd recommend to this audience? I think it composed mostly of small business owners or people who are thinking of at some point starting businesses, and in relation to what you spoke about, that we can be able to put on our reading list and hopefully apply in one or the other in our businesses.
There's a couple of books that I like, but I do like so much the book that we are doing right now in LYP, the E-Myth. It's called E-Myth, and I know you know about it, Andrew. You can be able to post it there. It's one of the books that's very important and brings out that element of really setting up business. Let me give you the full title. It's called the E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. So this book by Michael Garber is a good read that I will definitely recommend. But also, like I said, the other thing is businesses are more about the person, and I will also recommend books about personal development or personal growth. I like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because it really addresses the core in terms of the way you're wired, the origin of things. You become an effective person, whether you're in business or you're even in employment. So you operate optimally. So those 2 books I will highly recommend in terms of anybody who wants to go to the next level. Yes.
Asante sana. So there you have it. 2 very critical books to read. E-Myth Revisited. I just read that book a few weeks ago and it completely blew my mind. I'll actually be doing a review of it. Should get it in the course of this week. And then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, another fantabulous book. So Erustus, thanks again for your insight, for your time, and for this recommendation. I trust that they will be of great help to the team going forward.
Just before you close, I just wanted to just say one more thing. First of all, thank you. It's been good. I've really enjoyed being here with everybody today and sharing. My prayer is that all your businesses will grow for them that are in business. And like I said, my first point about the entrepreneur is ask. So I'm also asking that you can recommend us. If you know of any business that needs to set up systems and structures, somebody who does not have a proper business plan or a strategy, then we will be able to work with them. We like what I just mentioned, we have crisis-friendly prices right now for supporting businesses to set up and be able to soar and explode. So thank you very much. Refer us with confidence, and we will be able to assist the businesses that you have in mind. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Erustus. Yeah, I can vouch for Erustus, having worked with him personally in my own business. He helped us develop a business strategy that we still refer to even to date, looking towards how we can continually improve ourselves. So if you're at that point that you're looking for someone to help you think through business systems and processes, think through your strategy, Erustus Omega Cap Limited is the place to go. So take your time. I think I posted his website on the chat box. I've also posted links to the book recommendations that he has given us. And if you could take a moment, I think I shared the feedback form. We do have a feedback, and this is really to help us to be able to improve these webinars. So if you could tell us, how did you find the session? And if you've got other recommendations of certain topics that we could take. I see we've pulled in a few. If you haven't, please take a moment and fill that 2-question survey. It should take you less than 15 seconds to do it. And once again, I just want to say thanks a lot to Erustus for his wisdom and insight and for his time. And I also want to acknowledge each one of you for having taken the moment to participate in this webinar, for your questions and for your time too. Thank you once again, and we look forward to having you board in the next session. Goodbye and have a good night.